pleased to be here. My name is Kurt Gunter. I'm the Chief Medical Officer at Inozyme Pharma in Boston, and we're working on rare diseases. Specifically, we're working on rare diseases of mineralization and vascular disease. These are important diseases that not every physician and certainly lay people don't know a lot about, but the families that are affected with these diseases know a lot about them, unfortunately, because they are so severe. ENPP1 deficiency can be described as a disease of abnormal mineralization and proliferation of the inside of the blood vessels. We like to say that we're studying bone health and vascular function at the company. In infants with ENPP1 deficiency, they are affected with this severe disorder when they're born. It's called generalized arterial calcification of infancy, or GACI. And those kids have very poor survival. They're born and you think of a heart attack as something that happens to an older person. Well, these little babies can get heart attacks because their blood vessels are full of calcium and their blood vessels have become narrow because the inside of the blood vessels have overgrown. And that is obviously a terrible disease. The babies that survive the infantile period, and probably over half of them, unfortunately, pass away, but the ones that do survive the infantile period go on to develop a bone disease called rickets. And rickets causes pain and skeletal deformities and also short stature. And these children require multiple surgeries. And also they develop a hearing loss, as well as ongoing cardiovascular disease. And this doesn't remit as they become adults. In fact, adult patients are severely affected with pain in the joints and lack of mobility. And so it is a disease that affects all phases of life. And that's ENPP1 deficiency. Now, ABCC6 deficiency is similar. It involves mutations in the same basic pathway that are involved with ENPP1 deficiency. And so babies with ABCC6 deficiency can also have this generalized arterial calcification of infancy syndrome. Then the ones that survive that, and we're presenting data on that at the ASBMR meeting this week, the ones that survive the infantile period can be affected by strokes. And so again, you think of a stroke as something that happens in older people, but no, young children with ABCC6 deficiency can suffer strokes and heart attacks and become severely disabled. So it's a severe disease in children. And then as the children mature and become adults, the ones that survive can develop a disease called pseudoxanthoma elasticum, or PXE, which is also a severe disease and causes not just skin manifestations, but cardiovascular manifestations. And adult patients can be susceptible to stroke and heart attacks. And so both diseases are very severe and affect all phases of life. And I'm thrilled to be at Inozyme working to develop a treatment and hopefully a cure for these terrible diseases. I think we're getting better at diagnosis, but like a lot of rare diseases, I never learned about these diseases in medical school. And a lot of doctors out there, even geneticists, sometimes miss the diagnosis. And so our team is working very hard to educate the medical community about the existence of these diseases, and so that they can be recognized and hopefully treated promptly. The definitive diagnosis is based on genetics, sequencing of the genome of the patients to show that there's variant genes for the ENPP1 enzyme or for the ABCC6 molecule. So the patients are currently managed mostly symptomatically. In the case of newborn babies with generalized arterial calcification of infancy, they're kept alive with standard measures such as mechanical ventilation in a neonatal intensive care unit and support of their cardiovascular systems, treatment for heart attack, oxygen, and those kind of things. When they pass into the pediatric phase, older children and develop rickets, they're treated with oral phosphate supplements and active vitamin D, which are thought potentially to ameliorate the skeletal manifestations of the disease. Those medications do have side effects that can cause kidney disease and calcification in the kidney, and they have to be given frequently, many times a day, and are oral medicines and distasteful, so it's not the best treatment for the patients, and they still get rickets and skeletal deformities. And the adults are treated pretty much with standard analgesia and physical therapy. Many of the children, as I mentioned, also require surgery. Now, in the case of ABCC6 deficiency, the babies are treated with GACI very similar to the ones with ENPP1 deficiency. As the children get older, there aren't really any standard treatments at all for older children with ABCC6 deficiency. Some will go on aspirin if they're at risk for heart attack and cardiovascular disease, but that's about all there is for those patients. And adult patients with PXE don't have many other treatments other than standard prophylactic meds to prevent cardiovascular complications. Antihypertensives are important in management of all the patients. So INZ-701 is an enzyme replacement therapy, just as you said. In the case of ENPP1 deficiency, the problem in the patients is that they have a mutant or variant ENPP1 protein. The ENPP1 protein is an enzyme, and it breaks down molecules, and as a result of its failure to break down certain molecules, there are low levels of an important molecule called pyrophosphate. I'm trying not to get too technical here, but because of these low levels of pyrophosphate, because of the low levels of ENPP1 enzyme, these patients are prone to getting calcification throughout their bodies where it's not supposed to be. Normally, the calcification is supposed to occur in your skeleton, but when it occurs in your blood vessels, it's a bad thing. Also, because of the lack of ENPP1 enzyme, there is a lack of adenosine in the body, which is a molecule that's necessary to keep your blood vessels open. And because of the lack of adenosine, blood vessels close down, and that contributes to hypertension and heart attacks. And we're simply giving an ENPP1 enzyme to the patients in an attempt to replace the ENPP1 enzyme that's missing. And we've been successful in that in our early clinical trials. ABCC6 deficiency is related to ENPP1 deficiency and involves the same biochemical pathway. And that's why many of the symptoms tend to overlap. And ABCC6 is a transporter protein in the cell. And when it's missing, there isn't enough of the precursor molecule to generate the pyrophosphate and the adenosine that I spoke of. And adding ENPP1 to those patients kind of boosts their biochemical pathway and generates more PPI and more adenosine. And we think that will help the patients. And in fact, in our early phase 1 clinical trials, it has helped patients. Are quite excited about the progress of our development program. And before I jump into Energy 3, I'll just mention that we have conducted phase 1 studies in adults. They were actually combined phase 1/2 studies in adults with both ENPP1 and ABCC6 deficiency. And we were able to show that patients treated with INZ-701 did quite well. The drug was safe and well tolerated. And also there was some early evidence of clinical activity. And importantly, we were able to raise levels of pyrophosphate, that critical mediator of calcification that I mentioned, inhibitor of calcification. We were able to raise that to the normal level. And so based on those data, we've embarked on more clinical trials, including a study called ENERGY-1, which is being done in infants with generalized arterial calcification of infancy. And the study you mentioned, ENERGY-3. ENERGY-3 is a randomized pivotal study in children with rickets, with ENPP1 deficiency. And we are actively enrolling patients now. We have clinical trial sites all over the world, and we're well into enrollment in the study. It's progressing as planned, and we will have data from that study next year. Well, I think, one reason we're here at this, Stefan and myself and others from Inozyme are here at the American Society of Bone Mineral Research in Toronto, and we're presenting some data from our natural history studies this week. And, these involve patients that were not treated with our drug, but still are extremely important. So I was attending a seminar yesterday that was presented by the US FDA, and they pointed out that what's missing in a lot of rare diseases is a good understanding of the natural history of the disease. Well, Inozyme has had the foresight to commence natural history studies several years ago, and those studies are reading out now. And based on these studies, we've really learned a lot about what happens to patients with both ENPP1 and ABCC6 deficiency. For example, with ABCC6 deficiency, we have discovered how severe the disease is in pediatric patients that survive the infant period. We had one natural history study with 9 ABCC6 patients that we followed, and 4 of them had strokes, which I was very impressed, I guess in a negative way, when I saw that. I didn't realize how severe this disease was in pediatric patients. And also, they have a lot of cardiovascular disease with myocardial infarctions and the need for implantable pacemakers. And the strokes that they have are quite disabling, resulting in the need for feeding tubes and very extensive supportive care. So those kind of data have really incentivized us to plan to do more studies in children with ABCC6 deficiency. That's just one example of things we've learned in our natural history program.